What is going on, everyone? My name's Boy, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Joe. His opponent today in the red color playing as Zeus as well. His name is Eric. And the map is Mediterranean, and this is, for some reason, some sort of a grudge match to prove that Zeus is overpowered. Right? Right? No? Anyways, it's no patch. I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand how this all works or what the dealio is here, but what we're gonna see from Joe is there's this brand spanking new right off the pipeline build being demonstrated here from Joe, and it looks like it's the same for Eric. Now, if you don't know what the build is, it's the first villager goes over and builds a dock, and the next two villagers come over and they build an instant storehouse. This allows you to get 3 fishing ships out before the first house, which is gigantic, because the other build where you went 4 villagers food and then 4 villagers wood meant you had to go you got 2 fishing ships and then a house. And that just means you just get more food income faster, which generally speaking allows you to get a more consistent advance time. So you can even go more than 4 villagers on wood. We're actually seeing 5 villagers on wood here from Joe. Same for Eric. They're actually doing exactly the same build here. Ooh, except Eric is short on the population. Oh, I don't have observer commands because this is unpatch, no patch. So cool, but it looks like a slight bit of idle time there for Eric. And you can see it's already 6 fishing ships out at 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So this is clearly a really strong build order. The only weakness to this build order is pigs, running out of pigs. And you can see Joe is about to run into this problem. If Eric actually successfully managed to steal those pigs away from Joe, it would have been huge. As you can see now that Eric's already had to move on to the Auroch, which means he slows down on the fish as well. And Joe gonna have to move over onto the Auroch as well. So it's just gonna be 1 less fish here. Doesn't change all too much. But both players in a similar situation, maybe going to be advancing a touch later because of it, but should be no problem. Both players quite capable. Unfortunately for Joe, he can't get these pigs out because the forests are too foresty for him. Too foresty indeed. Alrighty, Joe going to be he's going to be fine. Some relics here, which probably, blue crystal shard. I can't remember when blue crystal shard is good for Greek. I think for the most part, it's not very good for Greek, so it's probably going to be a bit of a no grab. We have arrows of the alpha. This relic's actually really good on water maps because it gives instant effect, because it means you can sit and defend underneath your dock because you get an extra 2 hack damage or 2 pierce damage from your dock, which is huge. Absolutely gigantic. And it's looking like, look at this fish here. This fish is like, for a no patch map, this fish is looking awfully good. Now, Athena is the god of choice. Generally speaking, we see 6 villagers on gold here, not 5, because you need, I think the math is something like you need 14 wood, 7 gold to maintain constant trireme production. But what do we got here for Joe? 10 wood, 5 gold. Villager over here. You don't want to put too many villagers on gold straight away, but you also want to get hand axe and the like. And we got Eric over here. You're getting hand axe as well. Also a little bit of touch bit of lag. What can you do? And Eric's fish is a little bit all over the place. Only 7 fishing ship for him, as opposed to Joe, who's got 8 fishing ship. But he's also got kind of nicer fish here with the perch sharing that mahi-mahi location. And there's Eric's classical age, a touch faster than Joe's as well, but it's not going to be any different. It's just going to allow Eric to go slightly more aggressive, but he's going to be able to be defended by the time these come over. These ships will be out, and it's going to be totally fine for him to defend against the first initial push here. A little bit of micro will be had, and I like this from Joe, targeting separate ships, and then you just pull back the ship that is being targeted. It means you will always do damage in the very first fight. It's a little bit of a micro trick because you're never going to be able to kill them. The range, oh my god, they have 16 range. It's disgusting. Minotaur chilling in the base. And do we see any heroes coming out? Nope. But we do see a Minotaur coming around the side there. They want to bring back the 16 range for Trireme. I don't know. I think Greek's already good enough on this map without 16 range. And now Joe going to be pushing into Eric, who's taken a lot of free hits there from the Trireme. He's going to be trying to sit underneath his dock and defend here. The docks have 20 range as well in no patch. I think that's not the case for Vubli, which means that defending under these docks is much easier. And Eric's just... What? He's just... There we go, returning some fire here, but Eric's just taking a lot of HP worth of damage. Nice micro from Joe there, pulling Eric out. And yet again, it's so much easier to micro when you're on the offensive than on the defensive. And Joe just playing really nicely outside the range of that dock, just dealing so much damage there. We just see the bolt onto the Minotaur, and Joe going to be in a bit of trouble here as he's going to have to retreat back to these straggler trees and get out of Jason. The Jason is on its way. As soon as it comes out, it's going to be totally fine. And while this is going on, Joe's just retreating back to his base. No need to sacrifice anything like that. And now Eric is going to be retreating away, but the Jason is going to catch on him. Look at this, 4.2 speed versus 4.3 speed. Does mean that this Minotaur will get caught up every time the Jason hits him as well. It slows down, so that fight's going to be funny. And Eric now pushing in. Boat numbers are relatively similar. You never want to restore first. Restoration first is always wrong, because look at this. Eric's going to retreat. He's got a couple of ships hurting, whereas Joe's fully repaired on all of them, and the Minotaur almost going to fall. You can even grab arrows of the Alpha while he's over here. We'll see if Joe realizes that he could do that or not. And he does actually. He's going to grab that one and bring that back to the temple. Currently, I'd love to see the population, but back in the day, not spoiled at all. Anyways, Eric now moving in. It's actually quite a nice concave, nice micro to pull that one back here. You don't want to micro too much in this situation because you can see the boats moving back, not actually taking any damage here. You can pull back the ones getting hit by like 1 or 2 ships, but in general, if you pull a ship back, it's probably going to die when you have this many numbers. So it's better to try and trying to focus fire like separate groups of ships and sitting in and just trying to deal as much damage as you can rather than preventing your opponent from dealing damages. The safest way to do that. Anyways, what's happening now? Both players have got around about the same amount of villagers on gold, so both playing incredibly similarly here, and it's looking like Joe is slightly behind on the trireme count because of that early pressure from the Minotaur. But now the Jason is on his way. Going to be moving around and seeing what he can do. He's actually going for the blue crystal shard. I'd much prefer to see him just run in at Eric and maybe sit on this town center or something, which is looking like what he's doing as Eric is making his way over to it. And we'll see if he notices it. He may notice it. He had to have his eye on the mini map there. Otherwise, nah, I think he missed it. Poor Joe. He could have had Odysseus out as well and been pressuring that one. So that's really good play there from Eric to get that town center up first. It's going to give him such a huge advantage, and now he should just sit underneath these docks while that's going up. And Eric's going to be in a bit of an advantageous position here. Oh, nice micro from Eric pulling these ships back and bringing him back with 9 HP just as the ship refocuses. And Joe kind of going all in here. Getting these boats down to a really low number, and I think Eric's docks are helping out in this fight. So this fight definitely not in favor of Joe currently, or at least it's very, very even. And the boat count going very low at this point. Village moving over onto the gold now. And Joe finally starting to micro, but Eric sitting at 2 town centers now. He's going to be able to start that town center production. However, Eric's got no fishing ships gathering right now. This town center is doing nothing here. Nothing at all. Eric needs to start pumping villagers onto food, have at least 8 villagers on food to maintain villager production, probably 10 if it's pigs or well, he's got Auroch there, so only 8 on the Auroch would be fine. And Joe is cleaning up this water here, constantly pumping these trireme in, and he wants the water he wants to win it. And the village is moving forward onto the berry bushes, leaving the Aurochs back here, and now Eric looks like he is going to be giving up this water here. I don't hate that. If Eric just gives up the water and gets 3 town centers, losing the water when Joe hasn't even started a second town center is not that bad. At about the 10-minute mark is when you can kind of just say, you know what, water's not worth it. Fishing ship in the end of the day only gather at 0.61 is that food per second, I think, or whatever the base gather rate is, versus farms which are 0.69. So big difference there. Big difference. And I guess you do have the 20% plus the 30%. I think it's 30%. 30% plus 20%. I don't know. I don't know what the math is, but basically, fish not as good as farms, and obviously Auroch much better. So if you can get the 3 town centers going, pump those villages out, you'll be totally fine. And now we're going to start seeing Joe pumping out some fish. He's getting per scene. And that's going to put him a little bit in front on the economy just to begin with. And then if Eric does manage to get this town center up, he should be fine to continue here. Needs to be careful to transition into farms nicely here. But he should be in a good position, because Joe can't really afford to get his town centers because he's pumping all of his wood into fish right now. This looks like he's actually going for Apollo, so straight to the heroic age here. I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe he goes for a hoplite rush here onto a town center to kill it. Potentially, he's going to be throwing down military, barrack, academy, and an archery range. I like this this building positioning here. It does really restrict the movement into this gold mine. And maybe like another wall here or in here, or a couple more buildings. We'll cut that one off, but Joe's still sitting 1 town center, and I don't know how much population he has, but it would be nice to know. It's an interesting decision to stay on this tree. And he has this one here. You could just move over here with this storehouse. Here is kind of rubbish, a rubbish forest line, but I guess it's not that bad. I guess Eric now on 3 town centers. I think this is precisely what Joe wants. And he's already got the Catastropus down in the back here, so he'll be able to go for this very, very fast. We see an instant market, so it's probably going to be Colossus as well. So Joe is banking on this all in, doing a lot of damage to Eric here. And we do see the trireme running around. The fishing ships are all kind of out by now. But still have a couple more fishing ships coming out to make that food economy go skyrocketing. But at this point, still pumping those villages out. If I go into the post game, can I see what the food is? Joe's food is climbing, and his gold is really high as well. So he will be able to jump straight to the Mythic age, it seems. And I don't think that Eric's going to have an answer for the Colossus, because Jason is not enough, and neither is the Odysseus, especially if you can kill him nice and fast. And Joe cuts the production, and he's going to be going through Hephaestus here. Very interesting decision here from Joe. We'll see what happens, but Forge of Olympus in no patch is super strong, but you do need 60 favor for it. And I don't think Joe's got any villagers on favor, so he's only going to be having like 10 favor at this point. Moving forward with more military academies, looks like he's going to be going all out for this. I'd love to see him build a forward temple to cut the travel time from the back temple down. You delete this temple. And you should be fine. They can pick off these fishing ships, continuously building those fishing ships here. Very good. Should be just fishing up the whole land there. Eric's saying run, run, run. He's just fishing ships. That's funny. Now Joe's building forward. He's going to build a fortress forward as well. And Eric, the correct answer here, I actually don't know what Eric should be doing in response to this. If he can get Heroic Age and get out Heracles, at least he can pick off the Colossus. You can see a bunch of villagers now moving over onto Favor as Joe realizes he doesn't have the Favor for Forge of Olympus. But I'm guessing that he doesn't really want to spend that on those resources just yet. No idea what population Joe's at this point because we are on no patch, as I've said. Follow along now, Fime. But already a bunch of Toxotes here for Eric. We do see a Heliopolis coming out. Apollo comes through for Eric as well. So Eric is in a really good position to basically just defend and be all caught up. So did we get Salt Amphora? Yes. So Joe's food economy is going to be coming in hot. Where's the armory? We'll keep an eye on that to see when Forge of Olympus comes in. We just see 9 villages here plus 6 villages. So that's going to come in very, very fast. There was a time when the favor gather rate was not sort of like a plateaued line, and it would just continuously go up. So if you put like 20 villages onto favor, you just jump to 100 favor kind of instantly. We do see some Colossus getting pumped out. Okay, Joe's not worrying about Forge of Olympus at all. Just enjoying the 25 favor, 300 gold Colossus as he's moving in. We do see Heracles is already out here for Eric, and he's making some of those pacifist as well to deal with the infantry here of Joe. And now I'm popping those units out. Heliopolis onto the town center, Colossus onto the town center. Joe grabbing his 2 town centers now. Finally, I think the Heracles plus the Odysseus can be able to take down at least one of these Colossus, but the Heliopoli just completely destroying this town center. But all of Joe's army has just fallen now, and I think he's going to have to sort of retreat here. We've even got some side builds now coming in for Joe, as he has done quite a bit of damage there to Eric, but he lost a ton of units. So if Eric can get this town center back up, it's going to be huge. I think if Joe is smart here, he just builds a Petropolis and builds a wall here, and he can keep this town center down for days. We'll see what he opts to do here, but still trying to build that Heliopolis there. I'm not sure about it. Still no Forge of Olympus. Still building Colossus here. And now 3 town centers is up for Joe, and he's going to start spamming out villages, I reckon. And this town center is going to be a difficult one for Eric to get back, but his economy shouldn't be too bad, so we should be able to see his own Hephaestus coming through. I'm not sure if even if he gets there, if he's going to be able to catch up to this Colossus count or even deal with the Colossus here. So we'll see what he's gonna try and do. But Toxotes spam, Heliopolis, it's just such a scary army already. I'd love to see a Bellerophon out just to pick off this and distract Toxotes in the back. Jump around. The 5-second recharge time on the Bellerophon from no patches. Very, very strong indeed. But not doing it just yet. Now I've got some hoplites jabbing into the bottom here, picking off this wall nice and fast, and they're going to be able to make a huge raid onto Eric's back gold mine here. There's a gold mine up here, that's fine. We do see that Eric has to use an underworld to defend against this. That's an overcommitment if I've ever seen one. However, it does mean that he can defend the bottom town center and the top town center, which is kind of what he has to do here. He needs to defend to stay in this game. And now Joe is thinking about maybe moving into the hometown center here. We've got so many villages on favor here for Eric as well, as it's looking like Hephaestus on the way. It is on the way. He just wants to get fully upgraded units here if he can. And now the Heliopoli pushing through, going to be doing so much damage to all of these hoplites. We do see that Odysseus gets picked off by those Heliopoli. The town center coming up for Joe as Eric's trying to defend that one there. But the army of Eric is just not strong enough to contend with the Heliopolis, the Colossus, and those Toxotes in the back. And they need to start targeting down the heroes. So that would be huge. And now Heliopolis taking down the Underworld Passage. Hephaestus comes through for Eric. Going to be casting down that Plentyvault at some point here. Looks like he's not doing it. And No Forge of Olympus either. We've got Silver Colossus out for Joe, and he's still not got his Forge of Olympus, but it doesn't matter because his army is purely Colossus here as he's just pushing through Eric. The town center is up 4 town centers to 2 town centers. Fish Eco probably. Oh, he's not full villages, but he's spamming them out. We've got Bellerophon coming up, and Joe casts his Underworld Passage down to move on to the bottom town center, which is trying to get out fortified town centers, but it's not going to be able to stop this onslaught of Silver Colossus and Hoplite. And EricBR with the expletive there, and just ripping through Eric's back base here. He can send the villagers forward and grab 5 town centers here if he wants. And we see a fortress coming up now in the base for Eric. He does have his Bellerophon, but these are Gold Colossus now. Bellerophon, even with the 5-second recharge time, only does 100 hack damage with that jump, and he'll whack away and kill him eventually, but it's a tough time. You definitely want to be running this one around and trying to use that special attack as much as you can, but it's not happening just yet. The villagers have come through. Going to be grabbing this town center shortly, I would imagine. And the Colossus of Eric coming in as well. More units are streaming into Eric's bases. Joe is just stamping Eric out of existence here. Oh, nice Bellerophon micro. Dealing with all the Colossus there. That's a huge win for Eric, but I'm not sure what he's going to be able to do to take this town center down, as Heliopolite are just streaming in. Toxodia are already out, and Eric is going to be tapping out. GG, well played by Joe, winning the water and then not settling for just grabbing town center straight. We're just running straight to the Mythic Age. Was really insane. I like that strategy. Instead of just grabbing town centers, Mythic Age and push with those Colossus was huge. But you know, well played by Eric staying in there. I liked his town center play, but I guess it was a little bit greedy, as Joe says. But you know, it was a good game. It was a good game. We'll play one more game, apparently, says Joe. So we'll move on to that game and see if Eric can redeem himself here. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll get onto it very, very soon.